Yo, what's going on? It's your main man, Rick the Dawn. Hey, what's going on, y'all? So I just finally caught up with Married at First Sight. This episode is brought to you by reallyhood.com. Go and click on something. Go watch a video or something. But I want to talk about this because it's crazy. I just saw something that really just ticked me off. First off, we saw that Mackinley goes to the gym with Clint, and Mackinley seems to be someone who Clint can confide in and someone that Clint can basically open up to because perhaps Clint doesn't have any friends. I don't know. But the point is, the entire time I'm watching Mackinley's face, and I can't shake this feeling that he is up to more than what he's letting on. So in this particular sequence, Clint says, "Hey, I almost touched her. I touched her, and I apologized." And the entire time, McKinley is asking these questions like, "Hey, so where are you guys? Hey, are you guys getting closer? Is there any intimacy?" And at face value, you would think to yourself, "Oh, he's really or genuinely concerned about Clint and Gina." The entire time, I knew the truth. I knew that he was digging and he was trying to figure out something. It turns out, and we find this out much later in the preview, actually, for the next episode, that McKinley jumped into Gina's DM. Now, how shady is that? Now, the big question for me is, when did the DM jumping happen? Now, I'm going to just give my opinion on that, and that is, I believe that he jumped into her DMs maybe a week or so after he and Dominique fell apart. And I can't shake this feeling. This is hating at its finest. He said something that really jumped out to me. He said, I always thought that Clint is a good looking guy. Gina's a good looking woman. Something could happen." And he also said, "I kind of wish the experts would have matched me and Gina together because I think we would have made a good couple. She's an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur." And I heard that and it hit me the wrong way. I said, this is the kind of person I always knew he was. If you go back to my episode 0 and episode 1 reactions, when I'm talking about Dominic and McKinley, at one point you're going to hear me say McKinley has something up his sleeve. He's not exactly who he appears to be. And I stand corrected. This guy is a sleazeball. Anytime you can prey or scheme on your friend or supposed friend, or anytime that you're watching somebody's relationship in hopes that something negative happens so that you can gain or you can come up or what have you, that is the most sleazeball thing that you can do as a person. That's just my personal opinion. So apparently, and this is a theory and alleged, I believe that once him and Dominique fell apart, he's sitting at home in his friend's basement. All right, he's in his friend's basement and he's trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I save face? And then he's thinking to himself, and probably the minute he saw Gina, he already knew that he liked her more than his own wife. And at that particular point, he starts to be a fake friend. How can you call this guy anything but a fake friend? Attraction doesn't happen a week or two later. You know instantly after you see somebody whether or not you're attracted to that person. So what this all suggests is that McKinley saw Gina and was instantly attracted to her. And, at that particular point, it's all fakeness from there, because now he's saying little side comments and makes me want to go back and watch The Honeymoon all over again so I can see things from a different lens. Like, oh, okay, that statement now makes more sense in context. And, he makes it seem in his diary room confessional that Gina is also interested in him. Now, it makes me want to ask this even broader question. Has there always been something going on between both Gina and McKinley? Because Gina has never given Clint a opportunity to show. Clint has been a model husband, and that's coming from a husband. All right, I've been a husband for quite a long time, and I'm looking at Clint and I'm saying, dude, I wouldn't even be doing that. I'm not even doing that right now. Like, he put the pressure on me. Like, I haven't taken my wife to a rodeo, for crying out loud. So it's just like he's doing all these things. I haven't taken my wife on a sailboat. So Clint is doing all these things that I believe warrant some type of, prize or thanks. And the entire time, Gina is pretty much just giving him the cold shoulder, despite all these things he's doing for her. And now it makes me wonder, was it because her and McKinley had something going on in secret? I mean, how shady is that? So I don't know. I believe that has some grounds because It made me wonder the entire time. And I even asked this question maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago. I said, why is Gina not giving this guy the time of day despite all these things that Clint is doing? And the way that Gina has been behaving now makes sense because I've seen this type of behavior before. When a woman is interested in somebody else, they'll do this kind of stuff. It's nothing you can do will make them satisfied. In fact, I won't even just limit it to women, a male or female. And I think the same thing is happening in the relationship with Airris and Jasmine. I believe his attention is somewhere else and he's saving face for the camera. So it's not a female exclusive thing. I guess it's a person that's preoccupied thing. So, the entire time I'm wondering to myself, why is Gina acting this way? And now I think I get it. Here's my theory. The final point. I believe that once Dominic and Mackinley fell apart, about a week later, he's probably hearing things from the production. He's probably seeing things himself. He's probably hearing things from the other guys on the show. Like, hey, man, Clint and Gina, they're just not working. So he takes it upon himself to say, you know what? Let me just check on Gina instead of checking on Clint. That's what makes him a sleazeball in my view. And I don't want to, paint this guy with a broad stroke because I don't know anything about what I'm talking about. I don't know what really took place and transpired. But I'm just going off of my own history and what I sense from the scenario. So I'm guessing that he reaches out to Gina like, hey, so how are things with you and Clint? Sleazeball move. And, Gina has this thing where she absolutely just destroys Clint at every opportunity. It is a terrible trait that I hope that eventually she gets rid of, because even if she marries Mackinley or she marries somebody else or marries this guy, that guy, whoever she marries, if she doesn't learn how to, be more encouraging, I don't think she's going to last in any marriage. She hasn't given Clint an ounce of respect. And, she is one to hold a grudge against Clint for the whole slender comment. But the entire season, she's been calling this guy ugly. He's a ginger, goodness gracious, it's late. He's a ginger, and, his attitude, his behavior is despicable. She said just about every discouraging thing she can about Clint. And Clint, to his credit, has been very, very mature through it all. But the point is, she's been dogging this guy out, right? And it's just been hard to watch even. So I think that once Gina got a little bit of attention from Mackinley, she said, oh, well, and I'm pretty sure there were messages exchanged. And as such, that pretty much gave Gina an out. Like, okay, well, things are not going to work with this guy. She's clearly not attracted to him. And she probably was attracted to Mackinley. Right. And then at that particular space, hey, they start to talk. And now this is the crazy part. Now, you have a fake friend of Mackinley starting to reach out to Clint, like, hey, guy, you want to go out and talk? And as they're on this extra mandate, I don't know what you can call these things. While he's talking to Clint while they're at the gym, he's trying to fish for information. So are you guys intimate? He's basically fact checking anything that Gina's told him, right? Gina's probably told him like, no, we're not intimate. We're not attracted to each other. And then he's like now starting to get feelings. So now he's getting feelings. And he's like, I don't really want you to be in that same house with Clint. So now he's interfering and sabotaging somebody else's marriage, because now he's like, hey, I don't want you. Are you sleeping in the same room? I don't like that. He's starting to get feelings now, right? Because his relationship is done with Dominique. And then, of course, he's starting to fish and talk to Clint like, hey, Clint, what's going on? What's going on? Like, in Clint's, how Clint is, just naive and innocent. Yeah, man, we're not doing anything. We're not. I touched her by mistake, and I was very scared. So. I just think it's real shady. And the one thing that makes me happy is the fact that we see later that Clint and Dominique found love together. And I'm so happy about that. And I hope both Dominique and Mackinley see that love. And I hope that love blossoms. I'm not sure if they're both doing it as a rebound, because that is possible. But I can't tell you how despicable that is to me. Let me know if I'm in the wrong. Okay, let me know if I'm in the wrong. I don't know if I am, though. I feel like most people will see it the way I see it, which is, wow. And here's where it gets kind of shady for me. All right, let me just clarify my stance a little bit. It gets shady to me because the same moment in which Clint and Mackinley are having a conversation at the gym and Mackinley is acting like a friend, literally seconds later, you see him in this confessional saying how he thinks Gina is attractive. No friend should ever say these type of things about their friend's wife. Even if they feel that those things are true, or if they really find that person to be attractive, even if they do like them, It doesn't even matter. A real friend wouldn't say those things about another friend's wife. It just wouldn't do that. It's a certain line that you wouldn't cross. He's saying she's attractive. He's even saying, I wish the experts would have matched us together. Those are things you just don't say. And the fact that he decided to say them makes me feel as though something was going on behind the scenes. Man, it was really hard to watch for me. I'll be honest with you. I can't stand friends like that. With friends like that, who needs enemies? And like I said, the only thing that makes me happy is the fact that Clint found love with Dominique, and I'm so happy that happened. I hope they are super jealous about it, because what a disgusting thing to do as a friend. But next, I want to go ahead and talk about Chris and Nicole. They seem to have some problems going on. Look, can I just get some out of the way? I am thoroughly tired of Nicole's self-sabotage. Am I the only one? I'm getting to the point where I'm like, why can't this young lady walk a straight line? And even her father, as she talks to her father in this episode and asks him for advice, you can tell that her father has dealt with her entire life, because he's like, this young lady is scatterbrained. She's asking for advice when in actuality, she's not going to follow it. She's going to do whatever she wants to do. So she starts to ask, so Dad, what should I do? He's like, hey, you either like him or you don't. Because he's already been through this with Nicole so many times. And I'm saying that Chris is also dealing with it, where Nicole will come to him and she's so anxious. She's so nervous, and she's so anxious about things that haven't happened yet. So she's anxious about things that can happen, things that didn't happen. She's anxious about things that may happen. She's anxious about things that may not happen. So what if we move together? Wait, what if we move together and they don't accept dogs? What if they don't accept dogs, but they accept cats? What if the house only has one bedroom? Well, it's like her father is a veteran at dealing with Nicole. So when she comes to him for advice, he's like, look, either you like him or you don't. I'm through with it. He's kind of put that strong line there to say, look, I'm not about to go back and forth with all your anxieties. It's either this or it's that. Chris has not learned that yet. So I think that's where the problems might start to surface as he gets frustrated. Over time, you will become frustrated when you're talking to somebody and you're giving them advice and they don't listen, but they pretend to listen. They're not listening. Instead, they're taking what you're saying, but then just kind of tossing it away and reverberating their own problems once again. And then you say the same thing and they're just not listening. They're not receiving what you're telling them because of their own fears, right? So that's what I worry about with this couple. I know that they're doing very well on the show. I know that they're probably the strongest couple on the show. But let me tell you, man, Nicole, this episode took some steps back for me, because I felt like she was so ready to sabotage. And she even spoke on it herself, saying that she's not used to this. She's been in some very traumatic relationships and things like that. And these type of experiences is what causes her to be fearful of things that happen and don't happen. Because she's basically looking back in the past and saying these things are very traumatic and they really scarred her, apparently. And now she just can't see perfection. She has one of the sweetest guys I've probably ever seen. And I'm not even kidding. I'm talking about on TV and my personal life. I've really never met a guy as nice as Chris. I'm serious. Like, never. She has, like, quite literally, she has one of the top 10 nicest guys I've ever seen in my life, let alone hers, right? And I'm not even exaggerating. Like, top 10 nice guys I've ever met. Chris is on the list. So she has that. And for whatever reason, she's just not able to settle into it. And you know what? To be fair to Nicole, I mean, this type of thing it's probably a good thing that she's so cautious, right? Because how many times have you and I, thought something was going a certain way, and then that person was hiding inner feelings that didn't correlate with what you all thought was happening, right? So maybe she has a point. Maybe she's like, look, I know what he's showing, I know what he's saying, but Chris is quiet. He may not agree. He might have some inner feelings that he's not exposing on camera. And these things could surface down the line in which Nicole gets hurt. I mean, that's what happens, right? You trust somebody, and then when you get hurt, you realize, wow, people are really capable of destroying you. And that's even people who you thought loved you. So on that front, I understand where she's coming from, but I cannot shake the fact that this lady is trying to destroy this relationship, and she's doing everything in her power to do that. And it sucks, because I feel like she does deserve love, but I'm not sure if she realizes that. All right, this next couple I want to talk about, Airris and Jasmine. Man, can they get some lotion, man? Like, come on, man. They got the man's feet all in the screen. They got Jasmine feet, they feet crusty and all that. They ain't got no lotion. What's going on, Nashville? Give these people some lotion before you put their feet all on the TV. Anyway, I'm gonna stay focused. Now, listen. I thought this was a great episode for Jasmine and Airris, but unfortunately, I couldn't shake the feeling that it was very scripted. I'm not saying that they were reading from a script. What I'm saying is that they're both kind of mailing it in. I feel like Jasmine wants to initiate something sexually, but she's too afraid to speak on it. I feel like Airris has a girlfriend outside the show, so it's only so much that he can do. But I did like the fact that despite me believing that Airris has someone outside the show, I saw Airris kind of break down a little bit. Like if you're Airris's girlfriend, you're watching him on the show and you're saying, hey, you know what we got going on. I understand you signed up for a show that you didn't really know was going to pan through, but you know we have something going on, and you told me you're going to get a divorce after the show is over. And of course, if that person's a real person, this is not just a made up, concept, then she's watching this episode. And in this episode, she would probably leave jealous because several times both Jasmine and Airris had these very intimate moments. Airris is rubbing her feet. Jasmine is stripping for him. So we saw all that and a bag of chips. And I thought that, if there was any type of sexual tension in this relationship, it would have broke through here. But the fact that they did not cross the line tells me that either he has another girl or he has another girl. Because I was putting myself in Airris' shoes and I said to myself, there is no way, literally no way that I could have done the things that he did or had the things done to him, like being stripped for. There's no way, and I do mean 0.0000%, no way possible that I could have been in the same space with that woman doing those things and not engaged in anything outside of having someone outside the show. Like if I'm a married man and I don't have anybody outside the show, there's no way I'm not consummating the marriage this episode. The only way I wouldn't do it is if I have a girlfriend outside the show. So that's how I know that Airris clearly has something going on. And then what made me very happy is the preview for the next episode, which shows us that Jasmine gets approached at a bar by some random guy. I'm assuming they didn't really go into detail, but I love seeing this guy flirt with Jasmine because Jasmine deserves it. She is incredibly beautiful. And this episode showed it more than ever. She's gorgeous and she's very classy and she carries herself very well. She needs some lotion, but outside of that, she's a catch. And I was very happy to see somebody flirting with her and making her feel like a woman. That was enjoyable to watch. And then we saw, her and Gina both go to a strip pole training, and they kind of practiced that. And one of the things that Jasmine said was, no, actually it was Gina. Gina said, wives want to feel sexy. And, our husbands are not telling us we're sexy. So screw that. We're going to go out and make our own sexy time. And I was thinking to myself, that's BS, Gina, because I think Clint would like nothing more than to be intimate. But the problem is Gina has put up an invisible wall. And I just don't see that Clint can get over that wall. So when I saw that, when I saw that whole pole training sequence, I'm thinking to myself, she's actually getting herself prepared for, wait for it, Mackinley. All right, because I think Mackinley was giving her that husband energy that she really craved and that she would not accept from Clint. Not that she didn't get from Clint, that she wouldn't accept from Clint. All right, speaking of Clint and Gina, this relationship is pretty much done for. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm so tired of this relationship. A lot of great moments in terms of fake love, fake friendship. I don't know what you call it, but I know it's fakeness because we saw a lot of stuff happen, and then it all pretty much bottomed out when the experts came to speak with Gina and Clint. And Clint mentioned feeling blindsided because Gina decided to speak on a lot of different things that she had not really told Clint. And I had felt the same exact way when I heard what she was saying. I was thinking to myself, when have you told Clint this, or that he's embarrassing, or that he's that? And, what really upset me was the fact that I know that had Clint said anything controversial or critical about Gina, she would have had a fit. Because that's Gina's MO. She likes to poke the bear, poke the bear, poke the bear. And then when the bear snaps back, oh my goodness, she plays the victim. It really drove me a little insane. I thought it was very insensitive on her part, especially knowing that she's getting DM'd from Mackinley. Now, any good wife, and this is just my personal opinion, any good wife would have said, you know what, Clint, I really want to tell you, I want to have a conversation, I want to talk to you. Yeah, so Mackinley just DM'd me. And the fact that she did not disclose that DM lets me know she's just as guilty as Mackinley is, and that something is going on. So I was really upset about that. We did see that Clint got a makeover, and Gina played the role, saying, this could have been what I always wanted. And I'm thinking to myself, BS. There's nothing that Clint can do that will satisfy the requirements to get even a touch out of this lady. All right, I would, I think that Clint dodged a huge bullet. I don't think he should feel bad because, like I said, Gina doesn't seem to be someone that inspires. She doesn't encourage. She doesn't build up. She seems to take away. And you really have to be careful with those kind of people. You want to surround yourself with people that make you feel good, that inspire you to try to be a better person. Anybody that's constantly criticizing you, and criticism can be a good thing, but in this case, it just feels like it's coming from a bad place. She's basically tearing this guy down. He's such a nice guy. And I hate when I see this because I think to myself, wow, this person is being really, really, destroyed by their mate or their spouse. All they would need is the right person and they would shine. And I feel that about Clint. I feel like Clint is a good guy. He's getting railroaded by the wrong person. And, he got his hair cut. He finally did that. Didn't matter because, again, Gina never really liked him anyway, haircut or not. So it was a little upsetting to see that. And like I said, the only thing that makes me happy in the end is the fact that I know that Clint and Dominique found love. I'm not a big fan of Dominique either, but then again, maybe I read her wrong. Let's face it. She was forced to make it work with a guy like Mackinley. And I don't want to, bash Mackinley too much. I am a little disappointed in him, though. I will say that. But she was forced to make it work with a guy who would clearly backstab his own friend, and also a guy who hasn't got his life situated yet. He's living in someone else's basement. I don't care how you frame it and try to organize it. He just moved to Nashville. He's in this. He's that. I don't care how you frame it. That's what the facts state. He's living in someone's basement and he will backstab a friend. That's 2 strikes for me. I'm not going to stick around for the 3rd strike. All right. Now, moving on to Shaq and Kirsten. And can I start off with a big question? The question is, has Shaq become overly nagging? Like, I've been trying to listen to Shaq, and let me tell you, I hear what he's saying. I know where he's coming from. He made a great analogy. He made a great point of stating that, in the beginning, he had to do a lot of work to take down the wall that Kirsten had up. And he made a great analogy that I've never heard before, him stating that he took those boulders and built the wall up for himself. So now it's harder for Kirsten to get in. And I thought to myself, man, that is the most nagging, that's the most crybaby analogy I've ever heard. You mean to tell me you've been working hard to bring down a woman's walls and then you built a wall up for yourself? Like, bro, I've never heard of that. Like, my man, take your G-string out your butt, man. This is like, dude, like, are we on a set? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, my man, like, yo, pull your shirt up. Like, what's going on? Like, take the lollipop out your mouth. Like, goodness gracious, dude. So you finally get a woman to open up, and now you having a hissy fit because, goodness gracious, I can't understand Shaquille. I've been trying to. But it's like when I listen to him talk, it's like nag. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know how Kirsten is dealing with this guy, but that must be his wife, because I'm telling you, I don't know many women that's going to deal with that. All right. It's just too much nagging, bro. And then, goodness gracious, man, it was hard to watch. I was just like, because the entire time I'm thinking to myself, Kirsten is gorgeous, bro. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's like, bro, just shut up. Like, and then, and then he didn't do himself any favors, because I was initially on Shaq's side. When Kirsten was saying Shaq doesn't talk to me and Shaq doesn't give me attention, I was thinking to myself, Kirsten, what are you talking about? This guy is right. He's talking to you right now. Until they showed, clips from, their daily operations, in which wasn't really, filmed. When they just showed them walking around the house and doing stuff, he comes into the house, he walks right into the room. I'm like, bro, what is you doing? You walk in the house and went straight to the room. You on TV. Like, you didn't give her a hug. You didn't say hello. Then there was another instance. He comes in the house. He goes straight to the couch and he's just sitting there. I'm like, bro, what is you doing? And then, one time they're eating, he's just sitting there and he's not speaking to her. And I'm like, bro, how are you nagging her? And then at the same time, giving her this level of a cold shoulder. Now, he did speak on the fact that she never made that clear to him, which I would say is a fair point. Like, hey, don't expect me to do anything that you haven't, communicated. So, she hadn't really said that, but I feel like she did. Like, how many times have Kirsten said, I want you to communicate with me? She said it a lot, but I think that she didn't communicate that issue properly. Like, she probably need to give examples. Like, when you come home from work, you just go straight to your room. Like, I think those type of examples would have been very helpful for Shaquille. Now, I do like the fact that Shaquille's mom, and I'm like, is that her mom? Because she looks pretty young and she doesn't look anything like Kirsten. But anyway, I like the fact that Kirsten's mom said the most amazing thing ever. She said, never base your relationship off of expectations because they will never do things that you expect. And I really thought that was helpful advice. And I took that and I put that in my pocket because, as a married person, a lot of times you can get caught up in expectations. I expected her to be this. I expect her to say that. And when you do that, you let yourself down because they'll never live up to the expectation. I thought that was great advice, if I'm being completely honest. And she also stated that, you want to live in the moment. I concur. I think that's a great point. So yeah, all that stuff happened. And, and my final thoughts on this is, man, if he did, and this could all be editing, it could be just one little moment in an entire week where Shaquille and Kirsten are very, very, gelling and they're on the same page. But I can't shake the fact that every time I'm seeing this guy and he's trying to voice his emotions of opinions and how he feels, it comes across as naggy and whiny, very whiny. I feel like, and this is going to sound bad, but it just felt like he was raised by a woman. And it's just like, yeah, bro, that's what I kept getting every time he opened his mouth. And there's nothing wrong with being raised by a woman. But then again, it is like, men, this is why men need to be in their son's life, because you gotta pass down those lessons and things that, you want your son to embody. And I just felt like the energy I was getting was crybaby, mama's boy, whine. Like I kept getting that. It's like nag, 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 mommy. Nag. It was driving me crazy. And the entire time I'm looking at Kirsten, I'm like, let me be real. Can I just say, I want to be very candid. If I was in the same space as Kirsten, I would give her whatever she wanted. That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be no nag. Like if Kirsten is opening up to me, if I'm on this show, Rick the Dawn, hey, Kirsten and Rick the Dawn. If I'm on this show and Kirsten is trying to talk, well, first off, Kirsten is a little loopy. So I don't know. I would sit there for hours and just talk to her because he even pointed out that she wanted to talk to him at 4 a.m. I don't know about that. But when I come into the house, see, I was on Shaquille's side until I saw footage. Him coming into the house after a long day's work and him just going to the room. I saw that with my own eyes. I'm not doing that. At least I don't think so. And you want to give him some grace because this is real life. She can probably be annoying. I get all that. But I'm just saying, just based off of what I saw, he just went to his room. And I'm just saying, if I'm on a show, I'm giving her whatever she wants. A woman saying she wants some attention. Oh, I got you. I kiss on your body, kiss on your neck, fix you something to eat. What you need. You need your feet real. I do all of that and more. Because once upon a time, Shaquille wasn't getting any love from Kirsten. Literally. Right. And now that he's getting it, it's just feel like he's turned into a crybaby now, and I hope that he shakes that off. And I hope that that's just an isolated moment because, I've kind of ragged on Shaquille, but I think he's a good guy. Obviously, I think he's a good guy. And I think he would make any woman happy, but he does have some character flaws. And we all do. And so this is not to state that, he's exhibiting any behaviors that I've never exhibited. I've probably been a crybaby before too. So the point is, I do think that he is a good catch, but I would hope that he steps into his manliness and just stop whining, bro. Like, for example, he's upset in this episode about not meeting her family. Like, bro, that's a blessing. You know how irritating it is to meet a woman's family because they already have these preconceived notions. She's probably already told them everything about you on your bad, on your worst days. Her father probably doesn't like you. Like, bro, you're dodging a bullet. You don't want to put the barrel to your own head because you want to feel inclusive. Like, let it go. If they don't want to meet you, stick around long enough and you will meet them. Right. So that was my thing with him, man. But overall, I enjoyed this episode. Great episode. What did you think? How you feel about Mackinley? How do you feel about Gina Mackinley? How do you feel about Nicole and her self-consciousness? How do you feel about Airris and Jasmine? Let me know, sound off, and I'll be happy to, check it out because I definitely have my opinions. You just saw that. But thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.